Okay, folks, are you ready? Are you ready for this? How are you all doing today on Cinco de Mayo? You're not having margaritas and such? Well, I had some Cinco de Mayo, so I went for some Cinco de Mayo celebration, and then back to work. Back to work where we are right now. So before we start, let me give you a little musical preview for the next couple of minutes or minute and a half, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to reduce the quality of that video. See, I haven't done it in a few weeks and I forgot. I'm supposed to reduce it to like 720p in order to insert into live stream. So sorry about that. So anyway, that was mostly to get people in here, just to allow for some time for people to join a live stream. So sorry about that. I'll learn to do better next time. And people have complained that my last video on the Jason Bourne video had too loud of a siren sound, and I guess it's too late now. I can't, like, I'd have to take down the video, and it's probably not worth it. So anyway, sorry about that. You know, we make mistakes. So that's a mistake. So I'm sure, you know, I got many dislikes. Maybe some people didn't watch it because of that. But anyway, again, this is a live stream, which is on Thursdays, and the format, as I keep repeating, is 30 minutes of me talking. And then the next set, after the 30 minutes, is for you to ask me questions of any sort. If you don't want to go through that, you can disconnect at 30 minutes and watch the shorter video. So it's only for people who want to stick around and see what the community is thinking about. So you're not forced to watch, you know, an hour and a half, which this is. The scheduled live stream is an hour and a half. 30 minutes only of the main talk. So the main topic today, just a couple things. It's not anything major, but it's just some observations that I made. And that is, did you notice anything unusual about this week? Because I want you to notice these things, because this is when people come to me and say, I have nothing to hide, and you know, I can't get influenced by somebody that doesn't that I don't believe in, and you know, I can't be influenced. So it's impossible for me to change my beliefs or my attitudes based on what people see. And I just want to alert you to things so that you can see for yourself, and then you can see if in fact it's something that you even detect. So we'll start doing some detecting work. So we'll be doing some detecting. So a couple of things that I saw this week. just in the news. I watch CNN and Fox News equally. So I have a balanced view of the craziness that's out there in mainstream media. So those two are good opposites, and it gives me a good chance to see what the direction is. And I did not actually see anything on CNN. Mostly I saw it on Fox News. So a couple of things that was interesting, and one of them was, wow, what genius to change the topic. What genius. I mean, you have to appreciate the genius here. When one side is like losing the narrative, and it's the polls are down for Biden, as you know, and they're basically going down into a morass here of bad news, nonstop bad news on one side, and then they suddenly find a way to change the topic, and it's Roe versus Wade. I was like, wow. It wasn't even news yet because there was no decision, but somebody said, wow, we got a bombshell here. Let's release this so we can change the topic. And it's like, wow. And that's an example of how you can manipulate social media. There's not even any actual news that happened yet because no decision has been made. But by doing it right now, they're able to create this change in what is in the news. And if you understand that, then you can see, wow, what other topics are in the news that are driven by external forces. In this case, somebody purposely leaks something, obviously with some sort of partisan objective, and to say, well, we don't want people to think about the economy. We don't want people to think about immigration or any of these other issues. Let's shift the topic, and it's pretty good. So it's like like I said, genius. I'm going to give you examples some of this exhibited genius in the past in the social media side, so you understand that there are some people who are experts at this. This is not an amateur's job. I actually don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get like a large crowd of people to do something without some sort of amplification. And these guys are so locked in to amplification of a message that they can, get it out on Twitter, and then, multiple things happen, and before too long, everybody's on it. And it's amazing. And on the other hand, here's a second example of an event that is kind of interesting as well. This one is more about suppression. So there was a video on Fox News that showed this black dude basically, I guess, attempting to rob this old man, this 77-year-old man or something like this. It's just an old man. And when the old man didn't want to give us money, he basically pushed him and then poured a drink over him and kicked his face. And nothing in the title said black man kicks white guy. Nothing. It's very interesting how, because you can't say that, of course. Goodness, this is you'll get canceled. You can't say black guy kicks white guy. Now you can say the opposite. You can say white guy kicks black guy, and then have it all out in the press, and then there'll be a riot shortly. It's just interesting how you can manipulate that, and everyone's so afraid to actually say what it is. So, and that's a kind of suppression as well. So one is an amplification example, and one is a suppression example. I just think it's interesting that they can do this. And if you don't complain, obviously people notice. You say, well, wait a minute, what did I just see there? And then people just do it quietly and so on. But if you're not paying attention, and this is the part that I want to to emphasize here is that it is wrong to assume that all of these messages are meant to convince all of us. This is what's in my propaganda video. If that's what you think, you're thinking incorrectly. You do not need to convince 100% of the population to do something. What you want to do is to convince the undecided, the independents, the middle of the road people, because they're the ones that shift votes. They're the ones who go one side or the other. If you're on the left, you're always on the left. If you're on the right, you're always on the right. I mean, don't give me any left-right definitions right now. I'm too sick and tired of that. I'm just, Democrat, Republican here in the U.S. It doesn't really have any right-left meaning anymore in the traditional sense, so you can't even say that anymore. But, just a two-party system here in this country. Now, in that kind of environment, you can see that it's the middle, or the ones that are unconvinced, that need to be convinced. And unfortunately, that middle part of the population, it's also the group that has nothing to hide. So once again, I see a post on my video. Why do I need to do this? Why do I need to care about hiding my phone and doing a VPN and all? Why do I need to worry about this? I've got nothing to hide. And what's the worst case they're going to do? Change the advertising. That's it's pretty stupid analysis. It's very stupid, because he's going to say, well, I mean, you're not going to convince me. I'm right wing. I'm very right wing. You're not going to convince me to go left wing. It's not going to happen. And then somebody on the left is going to say, well, I'm a pure commie. You're not going to be able to convince me to go right. It's not going to happen. So therefore, all of this business about hiding and having privacy doesn't matter to me, because I cannot be convinced. But that is the completely wrong attitude. The completely wrong attitude, because it's the guys in the middle that can change the government. The guys in the middle who are just innocent, who don't know anything. And and if you withhold information from that middle group, then you can actually control the perception that results in an election or some change in government that now affects you in the future. So that's really what we're talking about here. And if there's not a fair distribution of information for that middle, then we're all affected. We don't have to be the side that's affected. The extremists are certainly not going to be affected by any commentary from social media. If that's what you think, you're absolutely wrong. That's not what it's about. What it's about is allowing the parties, like the manipulators, be whoever the large entity is. It could be a mercenary firm like Palantir. It could be big tech. Google, Facebook, Apple, and so on, Microsoft, or it could be some government entity, because they are funded by the government, and they believe that they need to swing you all to believe a certain thing, and they've done that over time. And we'll talk about that, in another moment, another broadcast. But I just want to show you that there's some skill involved with putting out information out there and making things popular or unpopular, and the experts at this are in fact in Silicon Valley. So they are the ones who are experts at it. Now I know this because back in 2012, in 2012 I was trying to promote my app BraX2. And so I had people mostly from the Midwest, and they didn't know what to do. They were trying to do it with the traditional Madison Avenue style of promoting an app, and to the extent of even handing out flyers at universities, doing things like that, and trying to get some large group of people to react. And it's as you find out when you actually try to do it, it's extremely hard to do that. I certainly don't know. I don't have the capability to do it. And yet, understand this. it is very easy for some new app in Silicon Valley to be connected to some investor, and almost instantaneously the app becomes popular overnight, and suddenly it's got 100,000 downloads in a very short amount of time. It's like, whoa, how they do that? And guys, it doesn't happen automatically. There's no way a single company can just say, oh, we're our software is, our app is ultra popular, and it's just did that organically. It is not organic. The investors know this. They have actually, so the people who promote these make big bucks because they can promote certain things, and they have a connection with the press, with PR firms, with bots, and people who will install things, and just basically a hype group. And they have centers of hype. They will center hype perhaps in a university that that they know, and then the hype will be accelerated some way, and then once it's shown into a certain media, then all the media gets combined, and then it gets the attention, and then when the press picks up on it and says, oh, look at this app, it's got 100,000 downloads in a week, and then everybody starts to download it. Now, having said that, the app has to survive on its own. Doing that is often short term. Many of the when I was looking for investors back in 10 years ago, and looked at the apps that they were taking, 99% of those apps are gone. I mean, they really are. I mean, they were like just, they thought they were going to be the next unicorn, and the fact of the matter is 99% of them are gone. And because it's just promoted from the hype. It was not organic. It wasn't organic. Now let me have a personal experience. This is just a brief explanation to just make you understand this. Before I went to YouTube, so I've been on YouTube for 3 years now, and before I did YouTube, I was on Periscope. Now, some of you are from Periscope. I see many people here from Periscope that are still with us today here. That means they've been following me, some of them from 7 years on Periscope. So nine years maybe of following me on social media. I can't even remember now when I started here. Was it 8 or 9 years? 9 maybe? 8 years? 8, 9? I can't remember now how long I've been doing this. But for those of us who came from Periscope, and Periscope, by the way, is Twitter. So Periscope is owned by Twitter. And we already know about Twitter. We already know about the tricks with Twitter. But some of this you actually didn't know. You didn't know unless you're an insider. So back in the day, we had a way to see hype being done on Periscope. So people who were nothing, they didn't exist anywhere in social media, suddenly became the big players on Periscope. And some of you know some of those names that have now disappeared. You never hear from them anymore because, again, another version of hype. So like Alex P, and I forget some of the names of the people from then, and then the porn star, what's her name, Olsen. So these all became really, really big players on Periscope Twitter. And it was very hard for somebody like me that was just trying to do things on a organic level to compete with some of these people that were able to do the amplification message, and the system, meaning Periscope itself, supported them and actually promoted them even more. So once you self-amplify, they just promoted you even more and put you on the top of the list, and so that more and more people see you, and then nobody else sees anything else. And this is the kind of manipulation that's been going on with Twitter, Periscope, in the 8 years or so that I was on there. And it's so obvious. And one of the things that is obvious, to just give you some real facts here so was that many of those in the top, if not all of them, maybe except for the porn star. All of them paid for views, paid for followers. So you can buy, 200,000 followers for, I don't know, $200. So people did that. And then they would, go promote their friend. I'm going to give you $50 and you go get 100,000 followers. And goodness, I never got to that. I forget how many followers I had on there. I think some of you can remind me. Did I have 40,000 or I can't remember now. I think it was close to 40,000. I don't remember anymore. But so all organic. All real people that I know, and many of those I even know to this day, and they were all organic. And that you checked, and there was a way to check. You checked that the people, because they had Twitter accounts, you had checked the followers for some of the other big players, and you'll find out that they're 90% fake, meaning they were just using bots to amplify the message. So they were coming up on the top of the list, and Twitter was supporting this. Periscope, Twitter, was supporting this, and they were putting these people up and saying, "Well, look how popular they are. They have 200,000 followers on this app, and they're pushing them on the top. And look how big we are. We have people with We have many broadcasters with 200,000 followers, and they're all fake, and their content was bad because they weren't there with authentic, organic support." And I was like pounding my way up there until basically I caught up with those top guys just from being organic, and then I left them because the platform was dying. So I went here to YouTube. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that you have to be aware that what you see is not what is reality. It's not reality. You are exposed to many, many things that are manipulated by skilled people or by organizations that help skilled people. By the way, some of those, some of them had companies that actually did all the promotion and arranged for the bots or the fake viewers and the fake followers. Some of them were real people. They'll go to some country and get some people and pay them cheap money to go click on it and go follow and make you seem like you're actually busy. So that is the kind of stuff that went on and still goes on. And that when Elon Musk said he's going to get rid of the bots, that's something that Twitter actually had for a long time. So a lot of it was fake. So a lot of the stuff that makes things go big time on Twitter weren't even from organic reactions. So they can push any agenda. They can actually make a topic big that wasn't big. So, and then they can hide topics that make them disappear. I recall somebody made a comment to me about left and right. I said there's violence on the left and the right, and this guy argued with me and said, "What are you talking about? I haven't seen any violence on the left. Everything has been on the right." I'm a pretty balanced guy. You can't give me that kind of BS because I'm pretty balanced. I don't. I look at it pretty evenly. And the fact of the matter is, I was in Santa Monica seeing the riots there and seeing what happened there. I mean, they were boarding up stuff that, I can see them on TV. I can see what's happening here. And they're saying there's no violence. And I mean, I can physically see the buildings that were burned, the big stores that were looted and so on. And the people who were, looting those stores on TV, and they're saying it doesn't exist because, yes, they made them disappear on social media. So it's selectively, they say, well, we're not going to show this. We're not going to emphasize this. We're going to make this disappear and only show peaceful protests when here in Santa Monica, obviously that's not true. And, this is the kind of misbalance that you see all the time. And this is the thing that you have to understand can be done. And the last point I want to make, is that if you want to just think, I mean, you got to do an intellectual challenge for yourself. Think about, coming from a different country that is completely unexposed to American politics, and you just arrive in America and you're hearing everything for the first time. How would you react to what's in the news? I'm telling you right now that whatever is being covered in the news and whatever is being discussed will be the only issues in your mind, because that's the only thing you're going to be aware of. In other words, whoever controls the narrative can control people like those. Look, people who had no knowledge, people who had no opinions yet. They haven't formed an opinion. They just got here. Haven't formed an opinion, and you can make them find an opinion. You can also make people be divisive and think you're downtrodden, or you deserve less because you got too much. All of these ideas can be pushed on you if you've never heard anything before. And you can do so, of course, with children as well. So I'm just letting you know that you got to be aware that that can be done. That's it. It can be done. Now, some of you will, put a lot of political meaning to what I said here, and you're going to go unsubscribe for me. And yeah, do that. I expect 50 per live stream, 50 unsubscribes per live stream. So if the topic has any kind of, political anything, there'll be minus 50 automatically. So yeah, who cares? I don't care. Okay, so it is what it is. I'm just letting you know that it's different when the information flows to all of us in an even, balanced way, and no one is manipulating it. You will probably have a slightly different viewpoint. Maybe the topics that are on the forefront maybe even be different. It may not be what we think is the number one topic now. Right now, they're trying hard to make the new topic Roe versus Wade. So that's the way to distract. If you do that, then you stop thinking about anything else, because we have a short attention span. And yeah. So anyway, so that's all I want to say about that. And just think about it. And the idea of not having anything to hide may not be an issue for you personally, but it's an issue when you don't support the fact that people should get privacy. It affects the profiled independents. It affects the middle. They've been profiled as independent. Therefore, they are the ones that are going to get the message. And that's what you don't want. You want people to get their attention, their data evenly. Okay? So anyway, that's the main topic here. We're going to go into the next section now, which is the Q&A section. But before I do that, let me just introduce you to my sponsor, which is Linode.com. And if you put Linode.com/RobBraxman and you use a Linode service, then you can actually get a $200 credit, which you can apply for a period of 2 months. Now, Linode's actually pretty cheap. It's one of the cheapest providers of cloud services that I know of. And what are cloud services? If you want to build a website, you want to run a Linux server, you want to learn. I mean, my goodness, if you want to learn, how hard is it to learn when you can pay for a server for $5 a month? So for $5 a month, you can set up the server, kill the server, set it up again. You can even stop it from running when you're not using it. And for $5 a month, you can actually have pretty nice lessons on learning Linux servers. So that's an example of what you can do. You can actually run web servers and run a website and run WordPress on your own and so on. And you can do it on Linode for very, very cheap. And it's really a great company with really excellent tech support and a very, very reasonable price. So anyway, just keep an eye on Linode. and they've been my sponsor for a couple of years now. And the reason I have them as my only regular sponsor is because I like them. I like them. I really do. Okay, there we go. Well, guys, let's see. The one thing I want to talk about first, while I'm looking for your comments, is BraX2. So here's an announcement, guys. Announcement on BraX2. BraX2 phone. This is the BraX2 privacy phone. This is not, sorry, it's not charged. I couldn't turn it on. The BraX2 privacy phone, which is no login to Google, no identity whatsoever, no Google anything on it, but runs Android, running Brax OS. Very good version of Android OS. It's really customized for this phone. Is now available on Amazon. So you don't have to search hard. You say, well, how do I buy this? It's on Amazon. So you can order from Amazon Prime and you can get it in a couple days. Amazon Prime, now on Amazon. BraX2 on Amazon. So in fact, they started shipping already. There were some pre-orders on Amazon. I didn't think they were going to take pre-orders, but they did. And they started shipping. So in case you want to do it quickly, you don't have to wait for any pre-orders. Because if you order from me, I don't have stock, but Amazon has stock, so Amazon can fulfill your order pretty much immediately and get it in a couple of days. So that's your option that is now available to you. So also, just to kind of like from an experience base of people who've used the BraX2 phone. I've sold a lot of BraX2 phones already. This is I think I would have sold as many BraX2s as there are Pine phones. I think. So yeah, it's getting to be a pretty good number. So and we're already pre-ordering stock for the summer, and so hopefully by next week we will not be in pre-order status. We will actually have stock on hand, just like on Amazon, although I don't know how long that will last. So there'll be periods where we don't have stock. But let me just tell you the experience of people in general on BraX2, because I don't want to be fake here. I want to give you the actual experience of people who actually use it. Obviously, people are very happy with the format, the physical part of the phone, the OS integration, which is really, really smooth because it's really made for the phone. So it's a very, very good interface, and it's honestly, it is better than Lineage OS, which is the one we normally ship. There's nothing wrong with the Lineage OS one, but it's just it's just fine-tuned more for this phone. So there's many, many things you can control, like you can turn off the SIM card. There's some security things that were added that track you less, that still exists even on Lineage OS. So there's some little, they're minor, but it's good to know that that's been handled on Brax OS. Brax OS also is bootloader locked, and so you got we have devs that actually support the phone, and when you report bugs, there are actually people programming solutions to them actively, instead of having to wait for Lineage OS to do something for us. Here, there's somebody actively working on it, and it is our intent that the phone be supported in the years following, as long as there are people using the phone. Okay, so that's our intent. That's our intent at the moment. The problems that people have had, and I'm going to give you the numbers here, so you know the expectation. 95% of people who have the phone have no problems with carriers. 95%. And I know this because we get the support calls and we get the counts of returns, exchanges, and whatever. And 95% have absolutely no issue. They plug it in, it works. I have that same experience. I put in my SIM card, works fine, everything's perfect. Don't need to do anything special. But a certain number has had a problem, and that number is around 5%. So now we need to understand what is the problem with 5%. Well, I have good news because I actually figured out where the problems are with most of that 5%. It's not all of them, but I'm going to guess that as many as 3% of the 5%. So that means, you know, the big majority of the ones having problems, or having problems with T-Mobile prepaid. So if you have a prepaid plan instead of the month-to-month, pay with a credit card thing, if you're doing prepaid, it doesn't work on this phone with T-Mobile, and it's MVNOs, meaning Mint and Ting and so on. I have a theory as to why, but I just want you to know that if you're using T-Mobile with a standard plan, it's perfect. If you're using Ting with a standard plan, it's perfect. It really is only an issue with prepaid. So if you're so to not get an issue, I'm going to tell you right now that if you want to use the phone with prepaid, don't. Prepaid T-Mobile. If you're going to use a phone with prepaid T-Mobile or its MVNOs or resellers, it's not going to work. So don't buy it. Because you'll just get upset and you're going to get mad at me. So I'm letting you know now to avoid a problem. Because the majority don't have a problem if it's not prepaid. So very few issues with carriers if it's not prepaid. There's still some issues, lack of coverage and so on, but it's very, very minor. To be honest with you, it's mostly about prepaid T-Mobile. I actually have not heard of any issue with with prepaid AT&T or prepaid Verizon. I actually don't know. I don't have enough data to say anything else. But I'm going to say that most of the complaints have been prepaid T-Mobile. Now, why do they have a problem? And I have a guess. The problem, guys, is that the phone is not registered with an IMEI. In hindsight, it should have been. But the phone was made and basically just used a pool of IMEIs that the factory had without actually creating a new identity of IMEIs. And so the phone shows up on the databases as a Z10. I don't even know what a Z10 is, but some sort of phone marked as a Z10. So the BraX2 phone, because it doesn't have any identified IMEI, is within the range of what a Z10 would be. So this is identified as a Z10. And so some carriers automatically say, oh, your phone is incompatible, it doesn't have band 12, it doesn't have all of this, and therefore we're not going to support it. BS, because it's not that phone. It's just unregistered. Now, that normally is not an issue. I found it's not an issue because when it's unregistered, they will accept the phone anyway. They're just warning you that it may not work. So Ting tells me that they don't block the phone because of the IMEI. So, and I use Ting myself, and I'm not using Ting prepaid. I'm using standard month-to-month Ting, and no problem. It works fine. In fact, I activated a new SIM yesterday just to retest it again. Worked fine. Worked on multiple phones. No issue whatsoever. So what the issue is on prepaid, I believe, is that if you're using a T-Mobile prepaid plan, is that the prepaid plan, for some reason, hooks with the IMEI. I guess they don't want the prepaid to go floating around. So they want to make sure that the prepaid is tied to the IMEI for some reason. I don't really know why. But what happens is if they check the IMEI and it doesn't fall within their expected thing, the prepaid drops. So the typical behavior is the prepaid will work for a short while, and then a few hours later or a day later it will stop. So it's whenever they do the check, and then the solution often is take out the SIM card, move it to another IMEI, start it, and then the check runs fine, and then move the SIM card again, and it works until that check happens again. So that's my guess. I mean, all the facts lead to the fact that is in fact the problem. Straight talk seems to be fine. Pure talk seems to be fine. Boost, AT&T seems to be fine. H2O seems to be fine. Yeah. Ting is fine as long as it's not prepaid. T-Mobile is fine. It's not prepaid. Somebody told me that all of Mint is prepaid, so I don't know. So Cricket is not fine, and the reason is it's one of the few that are sticklers for the IMEI, and they say, well, your phone is not supported. So anyway, so if you are not doing prepaid T-Mobile, you're not going to have an issue. So, and of course, there's the 30-day money back guarantee, and if you buy it from Amazon, you can return to Amazon as well. So there's no real risk. We'll take care of it. Okay? So, what do you think is safer, Google phones or iPhone? Epic stuff, please watch my videos. I have like 4 videos on iPhones. Do you really want a phone that tracks you even when the phone is off? Seriously? Do you want your phone? Watch my last video on Jason Bourne. The guy has an iPhone. You turn off the phone, it's still tracking you. So, come on. It's not even the choice. Hate iPhones. I have an iPhone, which I don't use anymore. How am I going to use? I keep it in a Faraday bag. How am I going to use an iPhone that tracks me 24/7? It's crazy with the power off. So no, it's not a choice. And you do not want a Google Android either. You want only a de-Googled phone. De-Googled. Like a BraX2. Or you can de-Google your own Pixel or whatever you want. It's up to you. You don't have to buy it from me. You can do it yourself. Okay? De-Google it and it will be fine. Why is a de-Googled phone a good solution? Because there's no login. You never log in. It doesn't have the spyware on there, because it was never put on there to begin with. So it's awesome. I got a bootloader unlockable phone and was able to de-Google myself. Fantastic, KZ. Proud of you. Graphene Os Variant. Let's see. Yeah, I have a phone that's Graphene. I have a phone that's Calyx. I have BraX and Lineage. I think the most user-friendly one is definitely BraX. I mean, to be honest with you, it's just more user-friendly. So yeah, the Graphene and the Calyx are more restrictive kinds of OSs. Lineage is more flexible, but there's some issues with Lineage, so it's not perfect. But it's for what we're trying to do. It's fine. It's fine. We're trying to do privacy here. So for privacy, it is fine. We don't have to go panic about this. But, if you want something with a slight edge, I would say this phone has an edge over Lineage. And I believe it's more user-friendly than the other ones. So what do you think about Virtual Shield? Now, what is Virtual Shield? When you make your BraX open source, I'll download and use it. Well, you can't. BraX is only available on BraX2. So it doesn't run. It's not made to run on any other platform. So it won't run. It won't run on anything else because you gotta set the drivers for it. It's specifically made for MediaTek Helio P60 CPU. So it's not going to work on anything else. It doesn't get any signal in there. Trades of all you will... what? I'm about to start doing backflips till I break my neck. I said no to hundreds of cookies on my phone today. You actually don't need to worry about cookies. This is something promoted by, some of these guys on Reddit, including the guys who run Graphene. and make apps that track cookies. I mean, they're totally misguided. You cannot stop the tracking of cookies because, for one, half the tracking does not need cookies. So what are you really doing? So you're saying, oh, I blocked the cookies, therefore I've stopped the tracking. No. What you've done is stop the tracking that you can see. You can't stop the tracking you can't see. And the reason for that is, of course, the other techniques for tracking, such as browser fingerprinting. That is not the solution. You do not need to worry about cookies. I do not worry about cookies. I don't care about cookies at all. Okay? What you worry about is identity. Well, I don't know why these guys are in kindergarten, to be honest with you. They claim they're such, superior programmers in cybersecurity, but they really don't understand the problem. Who cares if somebody's tracking you if you do not have an identity? It's really that simple. Don't have an identity. I'll give you an example. You go to my site, BraX2. How does that compare, let's say, to, I don't know, Matrix? And they're going to say, well, Matrix is encrypted, and they're going to give you 10 million reasons why Matrix would be better. But Matrix has so much metadata that they can actually identify a specific person. Especially since a lot of the Matrix infrastructure is centralized. So I don't like to use Matrix. I use BraX2. Now, what is so interesting about BraX2? Well, BraX2 doesn't have any identity. There's no email, there's no phone number, there's no nothing. You're never told to do anything that will identify yourself unless you want to identify yourself. In the public view, no one sees any identity. The app doesn't even track IP addresses, and it is open source. So it doesn't track any IP addresses. Now let's just presume, for example, and actually use this in the example in the Jason Bourne video, is that you decided that you're going to have a secret conversation with somebody on BraX2, and the secret conversation is going to occur between two unknown people. So two unknown people set up a login on BraX2, and I'll just pick random names in here and say let's say it's Mary and Dom. Mary and Dom, okay? So Mary and Dom want to have a private conversation on BraX2. So they go on BraX2, sign up as Mary, and sign up as Dom. Well, who the heck is Mary? Who the heck is Dom? It doesn't matter what they talk about if I don't know who they are. Do you understand the importance here? If some government says to me, I need to go, see what the conversations are between these two parties. Which two parties? How do you know who the people are? There's no IP address. There's no identifier. There's no actual way to know who's who. If you come into BraX2 with, a name that doesn't interact with other people, how is anyone supposed to know who that is? So that is one of the things that is important, guys. This is really the primary lesson that I always tell you. It's that the battle is not about secrecy and all this. That doesn't really work because you can't really be that secret in the internet. If you want to be secret, don't be on the internet. The solution is really just don't have an identity. So BraX2 has no identity, no VPN. No IP logs. There's really nothing that can identify you specifically. So it's kind of neat, and that's really how I designed it. It is encrypted. It is not end-to-end encrypted in the same way as Signal. And the reason is because it's a cloud service, so there's no client on a device, so you can't really store it in an end-to-end encrypted way the same without having a client. You need a client device to store something that's end-to-end encrypted. So since that's not really the architecture, it can't do that. But it's encrypted, and the more important thing is the lack of identity. Versus, let's go to another example, and that's Signal. So Signal is, Yeah, end-to-end encrypted, but it has your identity. It has your fucking phone number. And not only that, it has your contacts, and it sends your contacts notifications of any time you go on the platform. So secrecy doesn't help there if there's identity. What is more important is the lack of identity. So if people talk with no identity, it's a much better solution. So that's really what I promote. How do you tell T-Mobile that our BraX2 phone is a BraX2 phone, not a Z10? Great gold? I tell them this is not a Z10, it's a BraX2 phone. I mean, you don't have to hide that. I mean, I'm very direct with them. Yes, I know the IMEI is not registered. It shows as a Z10. It's not a Z10. It's a BraX2 phone. Helio P60 motherboard from MediaTek. And it has band 12, and and we have the band list and all that. It works. Yes, the IMEI is not registered, so that's why it gives you false information, but it will work as long as it's not prepaid. So you don't have to play games. They will tell you it's a Z10, and they're reading from a script. They don't know anything. So I talked to so many carrier people this week, and I can tell you that that they're very mechanical. They're actually pretty low level. They act like they're high level, and they're actually not. They're just operating from a script, and their knowledge base is very minimal. To pay it without leaving your name and so on, could you reveal to us maybe one of these days? I don't know, said Mayor. I don't know if I want to reveal that. It's not a perfect solution, but it works for me. So, said Mayor, that's certain things I can't put in a video because it's internal knowledge, which meaning I'm not telling you everything. There's certain things that I know that I don't necessarily share because I want to keep it beneficial for my purposes, but it can be done. So yeah. PayPal and eBay are requesting SSN for tax purposes. Yeah, I have a corporation. Yeah, I have a corporate presence, so I have corporate tax IDs and so on. So yeah, that's what I use. I mean, if you want to be super advanced, it's kind of expensive, obviously, to set up a California corporation because there's a minimum tax of $800 a year. So for casual use, it's kind of hard. So you might want to go to someplace cheaper, or maybe go to Delaware, or go to Montana that will hide your identity for a year. Actually, the hiding of identity is not. It's not so. Corporate records are not easily available unless you search for them. So if you have an agent of record, the agent of record is what shows up on the corporation. So you are a corporation. Ricky Rickrack is a corporation. Well, I am a corporation too. Corporation are people. Those are some hefty fees. Yeah, California, of course. Wyoming. I think Wyoming is the one with the privacy rules. Not Montana. Wyoming, I think. Are you near a piano you can play? No. Did you ever get your hands on the Librem phone? Did you review it? No, I have not received one. I mean, totally, the company is, Purism is Purism, I'm going to be frank here, Purism is kind of scammy. So I did get a Librem 5 phone. So I have a Librem 5 phone that someone gave to me to test out. And it did not work. It did not run. So, yeah, we the people can act as an agent of record, yes. Robert doesn't want to talk about three-letter agency. Why open source is better for privacy security? Code with many flaws may be available online for years. and no security experts interested in reviewing. Where is the benefit? Versus what? Versus something that's closed source? I mean, I mean, what are you comparing it against? So you'd rather have a closed source where you don't know that somebody's spying on you, will spy on you forever like they do in Google Android? I mean, you can't have it. It may not be perfect, but it's for most people it works. Yes, I never got my Librem 5. So, yeah, I don't know how many years now. It's past 3 years for me, I think. That I paid $700 some for my Librem 5 that I've never seen. I mean, why would I even use a Librem 5 now? It's so old. Let's see. So they're just it's almost like a Ponzi scheme now. They keep buying. They use it. They use your money to buy the capital because they're not capitalized. So they're actually using your pre-orders to buy stock. I mean, that's pretty scammy to me. So anyway, I'm not recommending that you go buy any Librem 5. However, I do not have the same opinion about Pine 64, Pine Phone. The Pine people are awesome. The Pine people are awesome. They're authentic. They're, community works. Improvements have been made to the phone. Yeah. They're not into software. They just make the device. And they're such great people. I really like them. And they're really committed to the community. And the guy that owns it is in San Francisco. And then he has an office in Hong Kong that actually handles the building of the Pine phones. So, Pine Phone company, the people, if you're into that and you're willing to support that project and take a risk, phones are cheap to begin with. I mean, they're so cheap. So I got my Pine Phone for what, $149 plus shipping, $179. I mean, that doesn't hurt even to even just play with it. Do you also sell Z10s? No, I do not sell Z10s. I don't even know what a Z10 is. Who makes the Z10? What is the Z10 actually? Is that the full model name? The BraX2 is a BraX2. It's a Helio, MediaTek Helio P60 motherboard. Helio P60. So there's a bunch of phones that use that. Okay, so that's a specific model. It's a larger phone. So to compare, this is a Pixel 4 XL, the large one. This is the larger Pixel. And you can see they're almost exactly the same size. This one is in a case. But I'm telling you right now, I think the difference is that the BraX2 is larger by 1 millimeter on two sides. So it's very, very close. You can actually force a Pixel 4 XL case on it and then just cut out the holes. Use an X-Acto knife and cut the holes out. And it's pretty much close to fitting because it's almost the same size. It's 1 millimeter larger for BraX2. There is no Tesla phone, so don't waste your time on that. Z10 is a BlackBerry, kids. No, there's another Z10 that's not a BlackBerry. There's so many things that. Yeah, yes, Matt. I know that Z10 comes up, but it comes up on my T-Mobile. It says when I go to T-Mobile, again, I'm not on prepaid. When I go to T-Mobile and I do this, it says Z10. It runs fine. They don't really care. Okay? The issue with T-Mobile, as I said previously, is only when it's a prepaid plan. So if it's not prepaid, there's no issue. So mine says Z10 on it. I ignore it. If they ask me, is it a Z10? If we don't support Z10, they say, well, who cares? It's not a Z10. So, and it works. So it works on my T-Mobile Ting standard plan. It does not work on the prepaid. Again, I explained the reason is because I believe they do on the prepaids. I don't know why they do that, but on the prepaids, maybe it's a security thing. Maybe it's a government requirement because, you know, prepaids are typically used, you know, in theory for burner phones. Maybe they're trying to identify burner phones. So they're checking the IMEI all the time to see if it's valid. So that may be the reason why they're doing something special with prepaid, that at least T-Mobile is, that they're not doing on standard plans. So there's no issue on the... So if you have a Brax phone and you say, well, it's not working with my prepaid. Simple. Switch to non-prepaid. It works. What type of graphics chip in BraX2? It's listed on the specs on Amazon or on the website. I don't remember right now. Yeah, it's on there. Sorry, I can't. There's a bunch of numbers, so I can't remember. ZTE. So ZTE makes the Z10. Yeah, I don't actually know who makes the Z10. What is the OS on PinePhone? PinePhone, you load any OS you want. There's many that make Linux OSs. Some are better than others, and they don't all work because not all the features work on a PinePhone. So it's more experimental. Yeah. So Great Gold, it is Brax OS. So we'll say Brax OS because it is Brax OS. It's specific to this phone. There is no other Brax OS other than what's in here. Okay, so there's no other Brax OS. You can maneuver a yacht with Brax OS. Yeah, in theory, because you can load the Ray Marine app and control it from here. And then you can do autopilot from your phone. Yeah, you can do that from Brax OS. I know that it's illegal and you won't do it, but in theory, what privacy risk can be mitigated with IMEI randomization, and how do governments hate it? The IMEI is typically burned into the phone at the factory, so they have the, you know, because it's part of the MediaTek. It's in the baseband modem, so they burn it into the baseband modem. You know, at the beginning, they may be able to do it with punching digits on here, but I presume it's done electronically. Obviously, they will be careful not to reveal how to do that. So we ourselves, normal people, don't know how to change the IMEI. The thing is that IMEI changing, if they allow it, means that you can steal anybody's phone. Change the IMEI, and if somebody reports a phone being stolen, then the phone will no longer be stolen. This is why it's illegal to change the IMEI, because the typical reason for changing the IMEI is phone theft. Okay? So don't expect IMEI changing to be legal, because the whole intent is to steal the phone. That's why you do it. You state in the last video, after using the SIM to make one call, that the SIM is burned. Is that the same if you strictly stay with the VoIP signal, telegram of your choice? If you are using a burner phone with a data-only plan, then you don't have any. No, for Jason Bourne, if you use a data-only plan with voice over IP, I mean, it's different if you use Wi-Fi, but if you use a cell data plan, the tower will be identified. So it doesn't matter if you're doing voice over IP, if they can identify the tower and know it's you, then they can find you. Okay? So how will they do that? They track your contacts. So if you're using voice over IP, how would they know it's you since you're not communicating? If you don't call, if you never call your relative in the Jason Bourne example, then I guess I can't see how you can be tracked. But if you call once, then you're ducked. Takes one call. If you call once and your IMSI, the SIM card ID is identified, then that's it. All I have to do is track the tower and see where the closest tower is, and it'll roughly pinpoint your rough location within like half a mile square. So then they can keep an eye on a half a mile square area and then find you. So the answer was do not use a SIM card at all other than the one use. The one use was to pass a message and then you throw it away and you make use, you say you're going to use it at a different location than you will be. I'm going to be honest with you. This is actually a real case. Okay, some of this I did not make up. Somebody asked for help in a different country. A person was innocently charged with something, and they were hunting him down. He did not commit any crime, and he just wanted a fair shake, but couldn't get a fair shake because they're going to put him in jail without any due process. So he wanted to fight it with the lawyers without being in jail, and so asked me for a solution. And the solution is you never call on a SIM card purposely, because obviously your location can be derived in any country. So the solution is very simple. You go somewhere. If you're going to use the phone like a burner once, do it elsewhere. So I told the person to go to a different part of town, make the call there, then dump it. And then use some other internet encrypted or unidentified, doesn't have to be encrypted, an unidentified platform, meaning a platform with no identity, and converse there without revealing that on any phone conversation, meaning it can't be obvious. So if you say, so in my example in the video, you say, let's meet on the secure site, without saying which secure site. You don't talk about it, you prearrange it, and then you say, I think I know what you mean by secure site. So some of this requires some, a bit of planning, that how you're going to identify yourselves in some secure site. Okay, so because of that, now it never got to that. The case was solved and the case was dropped against the individual. But during the time that the individual was this is a different country, not in the U.S. Because the country where this person was asking me for help from is less organized. There was less chances of getting caught. It's in the U.S. You have more chances of getting caught. Okay? The phone is available on Amazon. Yes, it is. BraX2 privacy phone is on Amazon. I don't have to give you a link. Go to Amazon and search BraX2 privacy phone. $389 including shipping. Prime. Do I need to give you a link? I'll give you a link actually. I will put a link on this video with the exact link. So sorry, I didn't even think about that. That's actually a good idea. Because I'm an Amazon associate, I should be promoting myself as an Amazon associate. Okay. Barry from Honolulu, Sotoro. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Walter and Jesse use disposal. Who are Walter and Jesse? So anyway, yeah. So the example I gave is actually Jason, which has so few views, by the way. It's not well received, and I don't know why. Did you not like the video? Can somebody give me feedback? Tell me if you from 1 to 10, what did you think about the Jason Bourne video? From 1 to 10, because it has such a low ranking right now. I mean, I'm very disappointed in myself. So what is the ranking of the if you were to grade it from 1 to 10? Should I do more like it or not? So yeah, think about it and just pop. Wow, formerly 007 liked it. 6 out of 10. The sirens that wrecking your ears. 8, 9. Okay. Okay. For those with low numbers, tell me why you didn't like it, aside from the siren. But the siren was way. Yeah, I know the siren. I already mentioned that. I mean, I can't take it down now. It's too late. I mean, take that off the review, because I can't help that anymore. You haven't seen it yet. Okay. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday, but maybe it's yours. Worked in industry, I would say you are spot on, and I would give it a 9. What industry is this, Alan? What is the industry you're in? Remove yeah, I can't remove the sirens now, but the next time I do it, I'll make sure to not make the mistake with the sirens. Okay, I know that some of the negative, down votes were for the sirens, but you don't like the getting busted part. Audio was poorly. Yeah, the siren. Yeah. So, well, it's video game. Guys, I guess you don't play video games. I would give you an idea of how many people thought that through. So, coincidence said 1. Well, tell me why it's a 1. So, I'd like to know what the negatives are, so I can fix it. Is the BraX2 only available in the US, Amazon? Yes. For non-Amazon, for non-US, you have to buy it from me direct on BraxMe. I hate YouTube. They also banned Vans. Cool. Thanks for it. Was a great concept. I was really great for a first effort. Thank you. So 10. I like to read Rob's comments, so Cranky's advice was lame. Okay, so anyway, yeah, obviously some of you didn't like the sirens. It's pretty hard to edit. I mean, maybe I got too tired because it took a week to edit it. Maybe I got too tired and I screwed up. So yeah, I mean it's a very difficult video to make, and then it was very disappointing to see how badly the video was received. So considering how much work I put into it. So thank you, Supreme. What do you think of the app Text Plus, which provides unlimited text, talk and text for $2 a year, and logging in and using the app from the Google phone? I don't know what that is. When you say Text Plus, what you need to do is watch my next video, which will be about SIM cards, and then you can compare. Because what you need to understand is it's called the data only plan versus a standard plan. So that will be discussed in next week's video. Any security opinion on helium networks? Not quite. I don't have any opinion yet. But anyway, the point of the video is not, as some of you said, it's like a beginner video, and it's like kindergarten. And no, because it would actually work. I already told you, somebody asked me for advice years back, and I've thought this through enough times that I know what some of the limitations are. And yeah, it's it's very hard to evade in the U.S. It's a little easier in a different country. But don't assume that somebody running away is a criminal. That's not necessarily true. So, is Signal a good app for use for messaging? Signal is it's good as a substitute SMS app, and it will actually promote using SMS Signal instead of SMS. SMS is very bad because SMS is being recorded by third parties like governments. But I don't like Signal because of the phone number deal. So I don't like using Signal with strangers. Signal is great to use with family. So if you're going to use it for family and people you already know, Signal is great. If you're going to use it with people you don't know, no. I'm not going to talk to somebody on Signal if I don't know that person. So it's only for people that you already know. Most because people can't comprehend unless it's in a cartoon, anime, video game nowadays. I thought I was trying to appeal to a younger crowd. Somebody said I'm not appealing to the younger crowd, so I made a video game format. Actually, that's not a new idea. I actually did this game on Periscope. Some of you guys know on Periscope I did this also, although not a video, it was live. So we would theorize kind of in a conversation way and say, well, what do we do now? How do you escape this? And I'll say, oh, you're going to get tracked. And we actually did this as a game on Periscope. So it's just something that I've already done in the past and tried and worked. And I used a different set of examples for that. I did it a few times with different scenarios. So video was a 10, entertaining, just the ending scenarios were depressing. Well, that can be depressing because of the opposition was the feds. That's pretty hard opposition. Will Elon bring back Periscope? No, Periscope can just die. We don't need Periscope back. Did I hear correctly? Brax phone is only in Amazon in the US. Currently, yes. I don't have stock to distribute it to multiple Amazons at the moment. So at the moment, it's Amazon US only. If you're not in the US, go to Brax.me. You can buy directly from me. Okay? So it's US only. Element is Matrix. Didn't I just discuss Matrix a moment ago? Metadata, Bruno. So no, I'm not. I don't use Element. I don't use Matrix. Phone is dual SIM. Yes. With your yacht, you could evade authorities if our country goes communist. No. Art Bell is on Periscope. Why is Art Bell here? Or is that Art Bell with a different name? Are you Art Bell, Edward Peters? Are you Art Bell on Periscope? Do you think quantum phone radios are real? I will see it later. I thought Art Bell died eons ago. We're talking about a different Art Bell. Okay. Yeah. We'll probably be talking about a different Art Bell. Okay. So there was an actual person named Art Bell, I think, but it's been a while. So yeah, so like Art Bell, Periscope is. I see. It's a joke. Okay. We're talking about two different people here. Okay, back on topic. Okay, so Twitter needs to be canceled. Uh, didn't Elon just cancel it? Will you be coming out with a tablet version of the Brax phone? No, I don't think so. Look, if Google can't even sell a tablet, so nobody. There's so few tablets now. So yeah, There's so few tablets now. The only tablets available are new are basically Samsung tablets, which some of them can be degoogled, and then like an older Samsung tablet can't be degoogled. I think it's an S9 can be degoogled, but not the new ones yet. And then I don't believe, and I've never done one. I've never done a tablet. And then the other tablets, of course, are all from Apple. So if I'm not going to be using a tablet, I'll use a laptop and, use Microsoft Surface or run Linux. Why bother with the tablets if, you're forced to be spied on? You were thinking the same Art Bell. No, I was thinking there was somebody different. Maybe I got the name wrong. It was, yeah. Version 3 version of the Brax phone should have physical switches like the Pine phone. That's easy for you to say, Alan, but we have to use standard parts in order to keep the cost down. So we're not able to do like a Pine phone solution, stuff like that, because that's not an Android solution. That's not going to work for Android. That works for a Pine phone because it's customized OS. They can customize the drivers for it. You don't customize the drivers on Android. On Android, the drivers have to be Google approved, so they have to be standard. The motherboards are cheap because they're mass produced in the billions. So no, we can't do that. So there's justification for some of you to say, well, I'll use a Pine phone. But actually, you don't even need to do that because I found that the software switches work pretty well because obviously it's open source. There's no real secrets in AOSP. So I have an option here to turn off the SIM from the software. And it disconnects from the network. So it's actually fine. So I'm guaranteed that it's not going to go play games because we know who wrote it. Our devs made it. So we know it's not going to go play any games and say, oh, it's going to communicate in the background. It's not going to do that. So yeah, bootable micro SD. Well, that's what you do with a Pine phone. You don't have a lot of security, though, with a bootable micro SD. That's the danger of a Pine phone. There could be quantum entanglement radios in every phone. Totally would know. Wow, that's pretty advanced. Quantum entanglement radios. Wow, that's amazing. Amazing if they can do that. That means you can talk in any part of the universe simultaneously. Faster than the speed of light. That's an amazing, I've read some science fiction, where they use quantum entanglement radios. And, you can be in, Alpha Centauri and be able to talk without having to worry about radio waves transmitting because it's done by quantum entanglement. So you see, I understand that. What do you think about the Fire Stick being rootable now? I don't know. There's really no risk with a Fire Stick. It's not tracking you, so I wouldn't worry about too much. They would have to keep your phone at the true coldness, at the true zero cold. Yes, absolute zero, or as close to 0 Kelvin. So it has to be a big machine just for the cooling device. Actually, that's not even right because nobody's made entanglement with radio waves yet. So we haven't seen that. I guess there's no radio waves. What am I talking about? Some sort of signaling with entanglement at high speed that can, do like voice. So we don't have that yet. Does every modem computer manufacturer has a backdoor modem computer? No, cell baseband modem. That it is true. Cell baseband modem. Well, we already know there's backdoor SIMjacker, SAT browser, web. That's in my recent video on hacking the phone. Yeah, it's all documented there in detail about all little secrets on the phone. It's very advanced though. It's in the advanced section of the playlist, and you can read up on that. You just got the phone? Oh, you ordered already and you got it already? Wow, that's pretty fast, Vlad. That's like super fast prime. You ordered and you got it already. Wow, that's better than that same day delivery at night. Amazing. Oh, you meant like Intel Management Engine? Yes, since 2000. Yeah. Most of it was introduced later on. Like I'm going to say that the advanced version of IME was 2013, but 2013, the IME is not as big of a threat for home users. It's a corporate threat because you can't access IME through a home network, but it's accessible in a corporate network, so it's less of a threat there. Can you install Android 9 Pie on Pixel 4 XL? Yes. Why Android 9 Pie? Why not Android 9? Why not Lineage OS? I don't understand the question. So what do you drink? What do I drink? Depends. Yeah. There is that video exists. It's how to set up a computer. That's a pretty old video now though. Still works. Okay, so anyway, we're running out of time here, so we're down to 3 minutes. So water. Okay, so just checking to see if there's anything I missed here. What are your paying methods for Bytes VPN? Do you accept crypto? I accept multiple methods, Supreme, but let's not talk about it here. You can go to Brax2 and you can see the options there. Okay? I'm sure your option will be supported somewhat. I don't want to talk crypto here on YouTube. It's not good. Okay, not good. It'll cause you to get banned here. I don't know why, but I don't know why. Why are they so anti-crypto? So, is there a Brax UK distributor? No. At least not yet. Yeah, so anything international is shipped directly here from the US. So we've been shipping everywhere. There's just a few countries that are troublesome that I don't want to ship to. I do not want to ship to Cyprus. I do not want to ship to Finland. And what else? Those are the two countries that gave me a problem. Germany, I had a problem with on Pixels, but they don't seem to have a problem with the BraX2 because I've shipped maybe, I don't know, at least 10 Brax phones to Germany, and they all seem to have arrived. So I guess it's okay. So we got 1 minute here. So we're not going to deal with the unimportant questions because it's just going to be a quick yes no here. Let's see. Do you ship to Ghana? Well, I will ship to anywhere, but I've never tried to shipping to Ghana. at least to South Africa, it's arrived. Will you talk about NFTs? Hell no. Any monthly plans to avoid or just prepaid? Prepaid is the only one that's a troublesome one. What's the best way to hide a physical address? You do package forwarding. So you hire a package forwarding address, and it takes a while to get the stuff, but you can put them on another state, and then they'll forward to you. Okay, guys, we're out of time, so we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and go watch the video if you haven't seen it yet, and help me push it up because it's not doing too well right now. Thank you. See you later, guys.